My name, if ever it were in doubt, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, the last and the highest court of appeal. Now, I consider myself to be the only one of my kind, the world's only unofficial consulting detective. Well, naturally, there are plenty of government detectives, more than enough private ones. Whenever they find themselves inevitably out of their depths, then they come to me. They provide me with the clues, I furnish them with a solution to the case in hand. An excellent question. Surely the pinnacle of my career thus far has been when I successfully laid to heels the Napoleon of crime himself, Professor James Moriarty. I always considered him to be the Napoleon of crime, the organizer of half that was evil, and of almost all that went undetected in this vast, bustling metropolis of ours. When at last I brought his criminal career to an end, truly was that the acme of my career to date. I consider myself to be a brain, the rest merely an appendix. I abhor the dull routine of existence. However, I have been known to play, adequately enough, upon my Stradivarius, a single-stick, combat, boxing. My knowledges of practical chemistry and botany are adequate. However, my knowledge of sensational crimes, all of which I've compiled in my good old index, are, I believe, laying the groundwork for what I am convinced will be the grand magnum opus of my career, to wit, practical handbook of bee culture, with some observation upon the segregation of the queen. And by the time, of course, I have laid all of the criminal elements of London to a heel, and what spare time is there to hand? Where does one begin? Master of disguise, the world's only unofficial consulting detective. I have been known to emulate friend Watson when it comes to writing up some cursory case notes of my own. You may perhaps have read of these trifling scientific affairs, the blanched soldier, the lion's mane. I always maintain, ladies and gentlemen, that when you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Too many detectives, ladies and gentlemen, fall into the rather elementary trap of twisting facts to suit theories instead of theories to suit facts. Also, one must always stock one's brain attic. Only with those particular facts and minutiae of knowledge one is certain one will find of use. Otherwise, inevitably, useless facts will elbow out useful ones. Therefore, always stock up your brain attic with that knowledge which will make one more efficient in one's own chosen line of work. In this instance, a detective. I confess, ladies and gentlemen, there are a number of instances that friend Watson has felt it necessary not yet to have published. I refer, of course, to the scandalous affair of the giant rat of Sumatra, also of the Matilda Briggs. Perhaps, however, the one overriding case that to this date has eluded my attention is that of the Whitechapel horror. I refer, of course, to that series of atrocities that was committed in the Spitalfields region of London in the year 88. I expected at any day Scotland Yard to solicit my services. However, that did not come to pass. I have my own theories as to who the persons were responsible for those awful crimes against those poor fallen women. If you wish to discuss the matter with me, you know where I am to be found, 221B Baker Street. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an older brother, 7 years my senior, Mycroft. When I tell you that Brother Mycroft possesses even greater powers of observation than do I do not exaggerate. Humility, in my own view, is the very worst form of conceit. If the art of the criminal agent began and ended from the confines of one's own armchair, Brother Mycroft would be the greatest operative the world had ever known. However, lazy, ladies and gentlemen. Lazy does not even begin adequately to sum up Brother Mycroft's character. A friend Watson once said, I have been leading crime a merry dance since the year 1887. Therefore, in Strictly Sherlock, it will be my pleasure to bring to your attention a number of supposedly supernatural cases that I have solved during my long, illustrious career. I refer, of course, to the adventures of the Sussex vampire. Vampires? Rubbish! What have I to do with the walking undead who can only be held in their graves by stakes, being driven, into the hearts late at night? Also the curious, scandalous affair of Professor Presbury, otherwise known as the Creeping Man. And finally, when the devil's own work descended upon Porthoo Bay in the Cornish Peninsula. I refer, of course, to the bizarre affair of the Devil's Foot.